How's it going, you guys? Today we are back for another video, and today I wanted to do a Naruto tier list. I want to rank all the characters in my opinion on how I feel about them as a character, how significant they are in the show, how cool they are, and just how they are Naruto related. And yeah, let's get right to it. Alright, so as you guys can see here, I have a tier list right here with all of the characters. It's ranked from God tier to trash, and it says it's ranked from strength and ability. But I also kind of want to throw in their impact and how I feel about them as a character, so yeah. And let's start it off with the 5th rank Hokage. So this guy's honestly really strong. I think he's not really underrated, but I don't think he gets as much praise as he should. He is, I'm pretty sure, the best lightning style user alive at the time of the 4th Great Ninja War. Or was it 3rd? 3rd Great Ninja War? 4th? The one with Naruto. Yeah. Pretty sure. I mean, he was able to break Sasuke's ribcage on the Susanoo. He was able to outspeed both B and Kurama Link Naruto. And Kurama Link Naruto is like almost Minato tier, you know what I'm saying? Like, this man is fast. So, yeah, he's fast, he's strong, he can tank stuff. His lightning can cut through basically anything. So, I honestly think he's probably the best lightning style user alive. So, I'm gonna have to put him at high legit tier. I don't think he's quite God tier, but he's definitely up there. And then, next up we have, don't remember her name. It's the girl with the snake arms. She has like 2 snake arms. She was supposed to be like Orochimaru's like next body, but instead Sasuke took it. Honestly, she's kind of underwhelming. I know she was a teacher in the beginning of the Chunin exams. She was the one that like kind of led the Forest of Death, but she didn't really do much besides that. So honestly, I'm gonna have to put her at irrelevant. Like, with power level, I'm not sure. I mean, she was considered to be Orochimaru's next body, so I guess she could be decent, but at the same time she's kind of irrelevant. Not to say she's worse than a decent character, but she is irrelevant as a character, so I'm just gonna leave her there. Next up, we got the OG Sarutobi Asuma. He was the teacher of Choji, Shikamaru, and Tenten, and he was pretty decent. I honestly, right off the bat, think he belongs in decent category. Nowhere near Kakashi's level in my opinion. He was definitely better than his wife, Guring, I believe her name was. I think his only real feats were the fact that he was able to nature control his chakra, and I'm pretty sure he was a wind style, because Naruto wanted help from him, and he was able to power up his dual chakra, or what do they call them? Kunais, that's what they're called. He was able to charge up both of his kunais with the wind style and cut through basically anything, so I think that's a decent feat, you know, he's able to access that. He has some fire style jutsu. I know that he was able to do the one ash bomb against Hidan, but besides that, he doesn't have too many feats. You know, he doesn't really appear in the show too much, and he's just killed off early in Shippuden. So, decent character, decent power. So we'll leave him there. Next up, we got Choji, my boy Choji. All right, part 1, irrelevant, trash. Like, this man was just fat, eating, and I mean, honestly, I kind of respect it though, because this man, like, he just did not care. Like, this man was just eating the entire time. He didn't really have too much to worry about, you know? So, the only big moment that he had was when he used the pill against the one guy from the Sound Ninja that were Orochimaru's. But then again, it is a pill. Like, again, it is a technique from his clan, but he was only, I mean, he was powered up times 100, which is basically like Sage mode, but still, it was at the access of a pill, which anybody could have technically taken. So, honestly, Choji, part 1, you're trash. Part 2, he develops the big ball jutsu and the combo with Shikamaru and Tenten. So they have that combo, and then wait, was it Tenten on his team? Or was it Hinata? No, it was either Hinata or Tenten. Oh, I'm not sure. Anyways, Choji had the big ball jutsu. He had the butterfly thing that he did in the 4th Great Ninja War, which is allowed him to fly, speed, huge, like in size and strength. So I'm pretty sure he's, let's say, irrelevant. Honestly, I don't think. I mean, he's decent. We'll see where I might move him later on. Next up, the infamous. No one likes this guy, but we all have to give him credit. He is pretty strong. Donzo. Donzo was the mastermind behind basically a lot of the plot in Naruto. He kind of started the whole thing against the Uchiha, although they were already going to rebel. He did start the whole fact that they need to be exterminated, He's kind of just like that one old head just sitting on his porch watching everybody like the entire time. He just kind of played that role. But Donzo did master the Izanagi by taking all of the Uchiha members' eyes. So that was one feat he had, which he had the entire arm. So he was able to spam the Izanagi. What else? He was a master of wind style, and he could do, I remember the cutting wind style technique. Yeah, just overall a pretty strong character. I think on it, he was also able to take on a Sasuke with the Susanoo for a while, and that's a pretty big feat, considering that Sasuke with Susanoo was able to take on all 5 Kage, and although he didn't win, he did come out pretty good, considering he fought all 5 Kage at once. So I'm gonna have to put him in legit, honestly. Although I don't like him as much as a character, he has a huge impact on the narrative, and he is pretty strong. Next up is an Akatsuki member that honestly I feel like is kind of underrated, honestly. Deidara. Deidara has the power to mold clay with his hands, and the hands basically have mouths on them right here on the palms, where he puts special explosive clay into them, the hands chew it, and then he can create C1 through 5 bombs, I believe. C1 being the weakest, C5 being the strongest, with a C5 bomb being able to blow up 10-kilometer radius. And if you don't understand how big that is, that's like really fucking big, like really fucking big. So everything dies 10 kilometers, including himself, which is the ultimate suicide. But I think he's pretty strong. He was able to take on Kazekage Gara. That's a tongue twister. At the same time, Gara was protecting the village, but still, he's able to take on Kazekage Gara, God, the freaking tongue twister, while avoiding all of the people shooting at him, all on his own, basically. So, I think he's up here. Honestly, he's up here for me. In terms of against Donzo, honestly, Donzo with Izanagi, I don't know how that would match, because even Sasuke struggled against Deidara with a Sharingan, like his actual Sharingan, you know what I'm saying? So I think Donzo is definitely below this guy. Donzo would definitely lose to Deidara, but I'm not sure how the Raikage would pair, especially with his speed, and he is an Earth style user, and we all know Lightning beats Earth style, so I think the Raikage has that fight. Alright, next up we have Fugaku, I believe his name was, and this was Sasuke's father. Unfortunately, we don't get to see any of his Mangekyo feats, which I believe somewhere I read or heard that one of his Mangekyo abilities was that he can see a little bit into the future, something like that, or predict the future, something along the lines of that. I don't know if that's canon or true or not. Whether if it is or isn't, it's kind of irrelevant information either way. I know that he was able to control the Nine Tails, which is why he was important before Konoha got destroyed originally by the Nine Tails, but overall has no impact on the show whatsoever, in my opinion at least. He does build a little bit of a narrative for Sasuke and Itachi, because he does treat Itachi like a son and Sasuke more like a burden, so I'm gonna have to put him at irrelevant. I don't think he's bad, but I don't think he has an impact on the show, and his abilities weren't shown enough, although he does have Mangekyo. Next up, my man Gara. Alright, if we're ranking this solely on liking them, Gara, you're god tier. But if we're ranking this on ability, it's a different story. So originally in Naruto Original, Gara was this beast that nobody could touch, literally it was stated, nobody had touched him in his life before, which is kind of fucking crazy, considering the amount of fighting this man has done. So, he's never been touched before, and Gara is just kind of this psychotic, crazy character that is just willing to kill and massacre anybody with no remorse, with no real intentions, just to kill, really. Also, he's a Jinchuriki, he has the one tail in him, plus he has that sand with the binding on it, which is like a great defense. So in terms of ability in part 1, pretty solid character. He was able to take on ninja that were definitely higher ranked than him. In Shippuden, I think that he was pretty good. I think it was, honestly, in terms of an upgrade from part 1, I think the only real upgrade they gave him was him as a character, complete 180. Great guy in Shippuden, completely different person. He was also able to do lots of bigger area of effects with the sand, like bigger waves, tsunamis, pyramids, all kinds of crazy shit. So you got that. But in reality, I don't think he's honestly that strong. At least comparing to some of the other ninja we have in Shippuden. So I think I'm gonna have to definitely put him above Sarutobi. I think he'll most definitely beat Sarutobi, but to me, he just wouldn't be able to beat Donzo. But that's just my opinion. Maybe just because of the amount of sand he has, he would be able to overpower Donzo. But then again, if Donzo has the Izanagi, in reality, I mean, Donzo also doesn't have that much speed. I think he could. It would be a pretty even match between these two. I think I'll put him in legit. I think I'm gonna have to put him, yeah, definitely in legit. I don't know between him and Donzo. I don't think Donzo has the speed to outmatch Gara's defense, but I also don't think that Gara has the power to kill Donzo, if that makes sense. So I think right here, leaving them two right next to each other, interchangeable, is pretty even, to me at least. And next up, we have everybody's favorite femboy, Haku. Haku was originally, in my eyes, a girl. I thought he was a girl. Thought wrong. But Haku is a guy, in fact. And if you don't believe me, look at this. This is what he looks like. Tell me this isn't a fucking female, bro. There's no way that's a guy. Like, everybody thought that was a female. Like, everybody was like, damn, this girl's pretty cute. And then they busted it out. I'm a dude. Like, my guy, you don't want to know what I've done. You can't say you're a dude. You don't know. Anyways, back to the tier list. Haku was a kid at the time of original Naruto and was able to take on both Kid Naruto, Kid Sasuke. Not the biggest feat, considering that Sasuke's Sharingan was at 2 Tomoe at the time, I believe, or 3, one of the two. And Naruto barely even had an idea that he had a Nine Tails in him. So, you know, it wasn't that big of a feat to have been able to take them both on, in my opinion at least. When Naruto went Nine Tails, he got destroyed. So, honestly, I don't think Haku has the experience against Jinchurikis. Excuse me. But I do think that Haku is a pretty solid character. Definitely has to go in the decent category for me because Haku has the power. In terms of versus Choji and Sarutobi, Haku beats Choji, but not part 2 Choji. But part 1 Choji gets destroyed. But he'd also kind of beat Sarutobi, but kind of wouldn't. It's debatable. I'll put him in the middle. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Alright. Next up. Easy. Our first god tier. The first Hokage. Hashirama Senju. The man with the most notorious cells in the entire show. This man's cells are able to cure real life cancer. If you were able to take the cells out of this show and put it into anybody in person that had cancer, they wouldn't have it. This man is insane. So, easy god tier. This man took on Madara, Perfect Susanoo, Double Sharingan, Mangekyos, with the fucking Nine Tails, with the armor. And he has no ocular abilities. It's all in him training and his blood. This man is insane. He's the reincarnation of, not Indra, Madara is Indra's reincarnation. The other one, I don't remember the other one's name, but you know what I'm saying. But anyways, yeah, solid. God tier, easy. Hidan. Well, this guy's an idiot, I'm not gonna lie. Hidan's pretty dumb. But in terms of power and narrative drive, he did kill Sarutobi. He did need assistance from his friend, which is kind of a bitch move. But, Hidan's decent. I think on his own, he wouldn't have been able to take Sarutobi easily, which I'm still pissed about to this day. Thank you, Kishimoto, for killing off Sarutobi with a trash 2v1. Thank you. Yeah. I think he's below Sarutobi, to be honest. Because I don't think he would even be able to touch any of these guys. Gara outranges him, Donzo outranges him, Deidara outranges him, Raikage just overpowers him. Although he has immortality, to be honest, it doesn't really mean much considering the fact that this man isn't that strong and all he has is his scythe. Yeah, he can throw it, but a scythe can only go so far, you know what I'm saying? Plus he has to lick the blood. It's a whole thing. It's just, I don't think he's that good, honestly. And fuck Hidan. Next up, Hinata. So everybody's, or maybe 80% of people, 70% of people, I don't know, 90% of people, favorite Naruto waifu. She, as a kid, was very timid, very shy, didn't really have that much of an impact, besides the fact that she had a crush on Naruto, which kind of foreshadowed to the fact that they would eventually get married and have kids. But who would have thought? Anyways, Hinata, as a kid, she was decent. She got beat by Neji, who is actually, I think, in my opinion, one of, if not he was the strongest of the, wait, what's the G word? The little kids, the starter ninjas. It starts with a G. I'll probably remember it sometime later. I know Chunin, then there's Jonin, then there's Genin, that's what it was. He was definitely one of the strongest, Genin, or the strongest, and she was able to go toe-to-toe to him for a while until she got beat eventually, but very, very decent character in the beginning. I will say she did upgrade with her palm rotation, not the one at Neji, the rotation, but the laser focus, where she was able to like kind of pinpoint stuff out. She doesn't really grow much, besides the fact that she does get the tiger fists, which are pretty strong, but I feel like she falls into this same boat as Neji, where they kind of fulfill everything, having to talk about their character being, you know, the whole traits of destiny and what you're born into. So after that, kind of just turns into her being a side character. So honestly, gonna have to put her at irrelevant, or low decent. If later on in the video, if I think there's too many decent, she'll have to be moved down to irrelevant, but definitely for now, low decent. Number 2, our second god tier, the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, third Hokage. Hold on 1 second. Hiruzen Sarutobi. I knew that. Hiruzen Sarutobi. He is a god tier. Okay, you might hate me for this, honestly, but in my opinion, he's above Hashirama, and here's why. So Hashirama, we talk about how he's this legend. You know, you guys all know the stories, the 1,000 arms wood thing, you know, the cells, the extreme amounts of chakra. But what we don't talk about is the fact that this old man running the village has control of all 5 elements, alright? The rarity in just that alone is insane. That's kind of like being the fucking avatar of this show. Like, this man can control everything. Not only does he have proficiency in all 5 of the elements, he also fought Orochimaru, a perfectly healed Orochimaru, trapped inside of a Sound 4 cage, so that already is 5 people against him, while fighting the Edo Tensei of the first and the second Hokage. That's fucking crazy to me. To me, that's just fucking insane. Second Hokage is the best water style user, and the first Hokage, we know the first Hokage. This man was able to beat both of them, Orochimaru, and this nigga was like 90 years old. You're gonna tell me that's not godlike. This man also was a great teacher to Asuma, third Hokage, Jesus, third Hokage, great Hokage, underrated as hell. Plus he smokes a cigarette or a pipe at all time, and I don't smoke, but that's fucking badass. So he's going god tier as the top shinobi right now. Moving on, Aruka Sensei. Aruka Sensei, like, you're cool, and you definitely push Naruto almost as like a father figure, where Minato should have been, but you know, he had to sacrifice himself for the village. Aruka Sensei, you push the story a lot, especially in terms of Naruto, because you teach him a lot and you teach him to push forward, and I love that. But as a ninja, you're fucking trash. Like, you're a kindergarten school teacher. You're definitely above Ino. Like, you can't get lower than Ino. Ino's fucking ass. Aruka Sensei, I'm gonna have to put you at irrelevant. You're I don't know, in terms of power, we don't really see his power too often or at all, but you can't get as bad as Ino. Whew. Who would have thought we'd get here? Itachi. Itachi, you're everybody's favorite. There's nobody that watches this show that doesn't like Itachi. Itachi is the god of Naruto. Although he's not the very strongest, Itachi saved the village and played the villain his whole life. He sacrificed his entire life, his entire image, just for the sake of Konoha, just for the sake of Sasuke, for his safety. Itachi is insane. double Mangekyo. Not perfect, but he does have the double Mangekyo. Half of a Susanoo, which is already a pretty big feat. His Susanoo has the Tsuka blade, I believe? Let me see. It's called the Totsuka, yes. Totsuka blade, which is able to seal anything away just with a slice. And he was able to kill Orochimaru, who was basically unkillable. He was able to seal him away. He was able to take on an entire clan. Not by himself. He was with Obito, but we don't really talk about that. Itachi's insane. He takes on Kakashi and the entire Team 7 at the same time with ease. He takes on basically everybody in the show with ease. Even up to his death versus Sasuke, the man was barely even trying. The only time I truly feel like Itachi was pushed to a limit was when Sasuke used Kiden. Because when Sasuke used Kiden was when Itachi was like, oh fuck. And in that oh fuck moment, Itachi was just kind of like, well, and he kind of just took that shit right to the face. He did use Susanoo, but his Susanoo was badly fucked up after that. It's kind of sad that he was ridden with this terminal cancer. Rest in peace, my man, Itachi. I fucking love you. But he was overpowered. This man was a genius. He somehow planned with his best friend's eyes from fucking 13 years ago, like however long ago. This man planned to use those eyes to untrap him from an Edo Tensei that happened later on in the future. Like, who the fuck, who thinks of that? Anyways, Itachi, you're a god. You're literally up here. Your god's here. Easy. There's no debating it. I fucking love you, Itachi. I love you. You're amazing. Amazing jutsus. Oh my god, don't even get me on Tsukiyomi. Tsukiyomi is its own thing already. Like, Tsukiyomi is just amazing. You know, you have Amaterasu, Tsukiyomi, Susanoo, Totsuka blade. What does this man not have? As a matter of fact, look at my Discord picture itself is of Itachi. I'm telling you, like, I love Itachi, bro. This man is amazing. Anyways, on to the next person. I'm gonna stop this video at Killer B. And after that, I'm gonna make a part 2 and then a part 3 to finish it off. I think that's pretty fair. But for the next person, Kabuto. Okay, hear me out. I don't want to hear anything in the comments. Hear me out. Let me just adjust my chair really quick. Okay, Kabuto. Started out nerd, lame, was whack as hell. You could tell something was shady was going on because kind of nerd is just like, oh well, Naruto, I just want to help you out. Like, no. We all knew this man was up to something. We all knew he was plotting from the very beginning. I think the cool thing about Kabuto is the fact that, one, he assassinated that one ninja in part 1. He is kind of just this low profile geeky nerd, but in reality he works for Orochimaru, the biggest and baddest of all villains in part 1 and a little bit of part 2. He masters Orochimaru's snake powers, which makes his regeneration insane. He masters Sage Mode, which we know what that can do because Naruto's Sage Mode was able to take on Pain, who literally no one could beat in the Konoha village. And he took on Pain by himself because of Sage Mode. So, and Sage Mode, just by default, makes you at least 100 times stronger than you already are. So just imagine in real life being able to lift 30 pounds, times that by 10, and that's fucking 300 pounds that you're able to lift. So yeah, Kabuto masters Sage Mode. He also masters the inorganic art, which is fucking insane. Let's say your house. You're fighting him inside of your room. There's nothing organic in your room. It's just a bunch of walls and fucking posters of hentai. What else do you have in your room? He's able to touch the wall, go like this, and quite literally make a spike out of the wall. He can legitimately morph inorganic things like rocks, walls, you name it, and change it to what he wants. So this man is basically able to bend anything he wants, which is incredible. It might not seem like he's a god tier, but he's definitely a god tier. Whew. This is gonna be hard because we all love Kakashi. Kakashi is just one of those OGs, you know what I'm saying? This man has an army of dogs. Like, look at this. Look. Like, you're gonna tell me you wouldn't be scared out of your fucking mind if this man came after you? Look at him. Actually, look at him. Look. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Broken for part 1, for sure. Part 2, definitely not good in the beginning. But when we see his Mangekyo ability, Kamoi, come to life, that's when he gets crazy, because although he was only able to use it once or twice in the beginning without having to be fatigued for like a week, this man was able to spam it by the end of Shippuden, which is all that matters, because we all know how Shippuden scales. At the very end of it, you're spamming everything you have. You were able to do 1 Rinseng on a day, and the Shippuden, you're doing fucking 20. Anyways, Kakashi, great ninja overall. I think he's legit, honestly. He can definitely beat Deidara. I think he has the power. In terms of shutting him down, this man is able to control, I'm pretty sure, all of the elements Kakashi's able to do. Yeah, all of the elements. So he's definitely going to beat Deidara in my opinion. He's definitely going to beat Gara in my opinion. I don't know about Donzo. Yeah, it's Donzo. I think I'm giving Donzo too much credit right now. Yes, I do think he can beat Donzo. 5th Hokage, I think, is where it stops. Now, if we talk about Kakashi at the very end, double Mangekyo with the perfect Susanoo and double Kamui, that's just fucking busted. He'd be up here. He'd be about right here or right here. You know, no, right here. He'd be right there. That's just fucking busted. At the very end of the show, the man has no Sharingan. He's still a great ninja without it, but I think the highest I can give him is right here, just because, you know, he just lacks the bloodline to have him keep going. The organic style or inorganic style, the bloodline, or even just the raw skill to keep going. You know what I'm saying? I think the 5th Hokage definitely can shut him down. Actually, yes, he can react to the speed, but I still think he gets shut down by the 5th Hokage. We have the guy named Kakuzu, 5 hearts, one of the best puppet style users ever. He also fought the first Hokage, who legend says nobody has ever survived an encounter with the first Hokage besides Madara. That's a pretty big feat. He did get kind of like quadruple teamed. We're not going to talk about that. In terms of skill, the man has 5 hearts. You got to kill him 5 times if you want to kill him. And he has some of the best puppets in the game. So I'm going to have to rank him about right here, I'd say. I'd say that's a pretty... Actually, I think he's above Kakashi, and to be honest. Yeah, I think he's above Kakashi. Now, again, you can compare that to Kakashi double Sharingan, but if we're talking about the Kakashi everybody knows, 1 Sharingan, Mangekyo, I think he wins. Next up, Kakuzu. Kakuzu, another one of those puppet style users. It's hard to rank these guys just because their puppets don't get shown off too much. Kakuzu has 2 of the best puppets in the game. Or 1, I don't know. Pretty sure it was 2. But anyways, poison style. I know he has the poison. Yeah, pretty solid character. Definitely below Gara. I wouldn't rank him anywhere above decent, honestly. I'm gonna have to say he's about... say he's about right here. I think right there is pretty fair. Alright, last 2 for this video. We've got Kiba and Akamuru. The cutest dog and human duo. These guys are awesome. You know, they have the Fangle or Fang, but in original Naruto, all they have was the Fangle or Fang and the pills to power themselves up, and the same thing in Shippuden. You really don't see any progression as a character. We don't really get any kind of backstory besides the fact that he needed a dog. Akamuru was there. Boom, he has a dog. I think he could maybe take on Hinata. Maybe. I'll put him right here. He's a little bit less relevant than more relevant than these guys, but nowhere. I don't think he's above Haku. I can't rank him anywhere above these 3. I think he can probably be Hinata though, so I'll put him about right here. Not Choji. And finally, my man. We got my man, the rap star, the 8-Tails Jinchuriki, Killer B. Killer B, the best rapper in the game right now. Fuck Kendrick, fuck J. Cole, fuck all of them. Killer B is the shit. He's able to control 8 swords at once, has full mastery over the 8-Tails, an amazing rapper, an amazing fighter. He's a great mentor too. He's pretty funny, impacts the story a lot. He helps Naruto. My god, if it wasn't for him, he helps Naruto so much. So in terms of a character and ability, he also was able to take on Sasuke, Karin, and Jugo all at once. In my opinion, the 8-Tails is gonna have to go. Can Kakashi beat the 8-Tails is the real question. That's a pretty close fight. I think I'm gonna leave him right there. I think that's pretty fair. Yeah, pretty fair to me. Yeah, this is fair to me. Alright, so thank you for watching part 1 of this 3-part series. Thank you for watching part 1 of this 3-part series. If you liked the video, you want to see more like this, wait. Whenever I post this, the next day most likely part 2 will be out. So stay in tune for that. Love you all, and I will hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace out.